is Lisa Guthrie. I'm at 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133. I am in Unit 329, and all weekend I've been threatened, which show you to your phone, that can happen. So, what's going to happen is there could be a siege situation, as usual, when I go out the door. So I do always like to broadcast this place and what's happening. Let me tell you about some of the threats. So first of all, the black Nazi scumbags and the other excrement in the building. And I'm going to show you where a lot of the threats are coming from. Rape over and over. And they have absolutely turned down for... Nobody wants the relationship with the tenants. There is none. There never was one. Eat with the bastards, usually. And I want nothing to do with them. And in Washington State, it seems that the black Nazis, they're going to force themselves on women who do not want. That's happening. But somebody, and I'm going to tell you where they're located, and you might not find it believable till you hear some of the voices. So you've got bums, and a bum's playing husband. These ridiculous monsters are playing husbands in this building. They're dogs of the world, and they would actually try to force people to mate with them or pretend that it's their boyfriend, that you're their girlfriend. There's nothing. No relationship. So they've threatened extortion all weekend. And they've threatened rape, slavery. They've threatened, like one of the whores, they'll think up any excuse to enslave you. So they'll pretend it's your husband. Believe it or not, there are 2 crack meth heads that come here, and they actually come here, and they're from the Seattle Police. And 2 are still lurking around and tried to arrest me 3 years ago because I wouldn't be. There's one. Sick, he's about 50. He tried in my life, and he tried to portray me as a prostitute. There's actual views, and they threatened, including with slavery, extortion, and mutilation today. They've been threatening me with poisonings, which my hands are bleached from here. They put an acid in the water. This is happening 13 years. Once a dirty cop gets mad at you, it's like a story that you read about. And if you wonder why the gangs are so voracious, it's because of the dirty cops. Now, I'm wandering away from the phone. I plan to go out no matter what these bums say. One of the whores just threatened to tear down the walls. And you actually could hear crackheads, including the dirty policeman, picking at the wall earlier to scare me and to try to come in. So it's Seattle Police Department, and they're still working for the Seattle Police Department, even though they're crack and meth heads. They come and they hang out, and then they're dirty security guards. They're black Nazis, a couple of them, and one of them threatened to break in illegally. He doesn't even work here. He's here illegally, and so are the other turd bags, and he threatened to break in with 6 security guards. And by the way, I want to show you this. That's just part of what I have to carry. Why? Well, you can't leave anything around because the bums will come in. It will have keys given out literally thousands of times. And thousands of keys to various people, but then it'll change hands thousands of times or be loaned out thousands of times. Now, these are Bloods, and there's some Zetas, but they connect with Asian street gangs. There are also people who work here who go into the walls. I'm not kidding. This is a crawl space. You'll hear like a chute. There's a chute in the closet, or behind, not in, but behind the closet, with unobtrusive entry where they can get you through a wall, a floor, a ceiling. If they can't get a door, or even raise her out a window or lift a window, they will come in even through your floor. Then they'll so it's crazy. It's not anyone or way. There's a hall. There's a hall. I could hear like clipping all weekend off and on. Actually sat and bragging about it. So the Seattle Police Department's in on it. They're bragging. Horse is playing bragadon. So they like to use cute words, corrupted words. I just heard the noise. They're probably clipping at some animal. So let's put her grandma in the animal and get the animal out. You can clip away at your own grandma. In fact, everything you do clips away at your own grandma, even if you walk and talk. Clips away at your own grandma. You like that? So these are Satanists. Feel bad about putting curses on them. These bums actually fell with Satan 13 years ago. Many of them had already fallen. So when Satan came looking for garbage, new garbage would destroy the world. The garbage said that why. So there's two Seattle cops, a psychiatrist that comes here. He's here. He's been skulking around. Like, you're gonna come in. You're gonna have a husband. And then, let me tell you what it sounds like usually. They're gonna let us in. You're gonna have a husband. Sometimes they'll talk in code like. And like I said, one of the black Nazis, you can smell it through the wall. I was gagging earlier. Because I could smell it. And so the Seattle Police Department will force women to be with ugly, smelly, retarded bastards. It's a building where you would expect ugly, smelly, retarded bastards. You wouldn't expect force themselves on you. Smelly, retarded bastards to force themselves into your room, but that do. These are all ugly, retarded people. They hang out in the wall with the police, so they get the idea they're the. There's also people here, like I work here, that will hang out in the wall smoking. And they're all paranoid. One of the janitors, she's a policewoman, or her big plot was to dress people as police, which there's a police shop on the road, and then dress up as cops. Actually giving me a directive. She said, Lisa, Spishak. So they'll take cutesy sounding words, and it's a code for something. Playing leave. Now, I'm not going to actually do what a whore says. And so when the whore tells me to leave, that means I stay until I'm ready to go. When the bums and whores tell me to stay, that means I go. These are being made. And one of the bums spoke in the face. He said, he would if I left. He said, you don't sit home all day. We're going to shoot you in the face. That's what he said. And the whores and like to play picking on minorities. That's why you find these crap black Nazis, because they're picking on minorities. They said it the other day. I had never heard of it. That's where they have psychotic black Nazis and other people, and then courted about by the witness, and you're threatening the plan who's pants black Nazi, I may add. The police department uses that method to cover up their thing. She's a goth, and she has hair. She's very homely with a big nose. And by the way, I do a million people talking about that stuff. 900 million. You might not believe they act confidently. You tell me why, and you tell me what's wrong when they're chanting over and over. Look for an organic cause. But even with an organic cause, I would still the fact that they have nothing even left of humanity in their skull. They're like if you family flourish wanted for 13 years. After they were convicted, let's say you never paid, you rewarded the sons of bitches. That's what these people are like. So it's like the dirty filth of the family, and then you throw in like child molestation and rapism and plots against the government, and then you've got these people. You've got also racist agenda against. So why don't you assume that you're going to shoot me in the face since I have the sound around and hear a moron sounding disconcerted, and all they're on meth, on crack. I think that makes rapists even worse. A man before he said he had been raped for hours when he or crazy. These people, the bastards that go into the walls, they're crazy. They're balls. It's to do with workers. They're just crazy too. They're based on got a job if you're a drunk or druggie, and they'll hide the or a druggie. They'll hide the fact you're crazy if you're a drunk or of color, and you have the benefits or advantage of color, and well then portray you as crazy at all. They'll just diagnose you with substance. All those people who work here couldn't do that. Well, you tell me who was in the wall. Oh, and there's a bum playing. Dairy made all of them. I don't care what you do to the other gang members. It doesn't matter to me. I don't here, and I leave, and there's a bum. I don't care. Gang members, Ada or Asian street gang member, I don't really care. Since it's mostly bloods here, I don't care if I have to walk over a body. Would I kill him? No, I'm saying because one of them was threatening. Oh, and a bum is playing you this, and you will let me have an arm around you. No, you're not a monkey. You're a stinky, ugly, nobody wants you. Nobody's going to put their arm around me, either of your friends or and gross. I want to show you some of the shit here. So let us have an arm around you. That's not the same person that's out there too. Trying to promote false relationships, and then that way they could say, oh, it's your girlfriend, it's your what, you've got two from your people in your apartment. Does it look like I want people? These are all scumbag, they're bum threatening a trip. They're out of hand. They need to be around. You believe in zombies? So America is a terrorist country. It's fallen to terrorists. And by the way, they make terroristic threats against countries, especially, but they also like to, so they've made threats about Russia and the Ukrainians and other countries as well. And the bums have a location again in Washington, 92, living here and taking over like its headquarters. So just know this is a Bloods head police, and so they're Bloods headquarters on the left-hand side of Aurora. And I am in Unit 329. I'm not in a gang, nor do I wish to be. And remember, if you're out there and you're another gang member, they wish to make this into a headquarters for Bloods. And they're playing so-and-so is going to go driving. So the janitor just made a remark about driving. She's a blonde whore. She looks like she has, I think, fetal alcohol. So she's made a threat, one of them did, about going driving, taking a trip. And so remember the dirty security guards that come here also. They're police. No, they are not police. They are security guard retardos, including, by the way, Pike Market Development Authority. There's a couple black Nazis, and they're on crack, all of them. They're on meth, they're drunks. And see, the connection with, so you've got these little fun connections. See, these retarded zombies can't keep anything in their rape, sex, suppose it's sex with him, sex with her, but it's rape in my case. Rape, 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 rape. They're like bonobo chimps. That's all they do. They or ejaculate into water. They talk about masturbating all day. They talk about rape. That's all they do. Rape this, rape that. They're bonobo chimps. And some of the other threats they threatened this weekend, one of them was an incendiary device to open the door when I wouldn't open it. This is how the crack or meth mind works. And then if you won't join the gang, if you won't be raped, they will call the police on you. And out might toddle a policeman who smokes crack. And they'll make up any excuse to have contact with you, such as one of the retardos is playing interview. Well, when I call 911, they can settle the interview. You do realize they are afraid of the police, and they are afraid of 911, and here's what you do with the dirty police that are endorsing the gangs. You call 911, have the smartphone, the crime, and so if you're 18 years, you then have a record of 911 being in collusion with the gang members, which is very common in Washington. And it's like backpack until you give up backpack. We already portrayed you as crazy 13 years ago. Somebody wanted to you would say that there. So you have one crime, and of course when you're taping the crime, you're going to pick up the 911 response. So even if you're not, you still are taping one of the whores was just threatening. She said the walls are coming down. There are laws. You don't even want to physically use it for business. You don't want to use it for including. So what they have is a lot of measures in place that protect the bomb. Just like the front desk, it protects the bomb. It protects the job they think they're, or the alleged guest or idea. Never. Well, we have security. Well, not security, but we have someone at the front desk checking here. Hearing that. Parking, even securely in the area where the employees park. So that's probably security guards are parking and the crack. That's the American way. That is to kill people. They're linking with hundreds of them. They are linking also Ireland. One of email. I didn't have any contact with any of these Europeans, British, or Irish people. And I used to go to British chats, and I believe, because my apartment was entered 13 years, well, then I believe they contacted all these gang members and running scam. Easy when you have a computer, you just don't even have. So ugly, retarded crap. She's a stinks, low-income building. So base smells cracker. She's been at it with the dirty cop. And so how did they get a hold of it? Starting maybe even 17 years ago. Why would I say 17? Because that, see, there's a lot of racism toward Europe and Britain and ignorance. And the kind where they act like we're still at war with Britain and did even 17 years ago. So I might have been starting to chat with British people 18, and then I would go off of Yahoo for several years, even 2 years. But then, you know, so who knows what happened in maybe through 30, well, I can't remember. Might have been 17 years ago. They were, yeah, sure they 17 years ago, but I'm remembering specific instances. So they were acting like a England instance. Very impressive. I consider. Oh, never really chatted. I wasn't. And the president sees it's a little harder to be, ironically. By the way, I was a pretty woman. These bums have spring. They will ejaculate and put feces even in your water. And they were bragging last night about walking around with a jar of water. It'll be like run your water. So I'm covered in scratches. One of the favorite games is to dump glass grains all over your apartment or other dwelling, and to dump it on you. Let's say you're wearing a hoodie. Let's say the hoodie's down. So they put the glass. See, somebody's arm is out thrust. That's how you're going to notice some odd. If you look at footage, like there's too much of this, in the face. Something in the face. Oh, grasping right over the head is a common one. And they're releasing glass onto your head. Where do I get my information? And also I get a lot of information from the threats, taunts, and threats and taunts of gang members. Also, they talk sometimes loudly, just like you can hear my voice booming, and I'm in an apartment. I can hear a lot of their plots, a lot of their threats. And by the way, the black Nazi thing, and he's in a crawl space. I swear, you could smell the thing, and he sounds like an ape, quite frankly. And that's what I'm trying to focus on women. So now I have a lot of different thoughts about black Nazis and what they've been doing for 30 years, including to scream racism. They were taught, just like a moron. You could go up to a Down syndrome person and say, oh, if so-and-so threatened you, Down syndrome, tap, tap. If I say so to me, I get tap, tap, candy. Principle. You reward the chicken with some feed. Horse stomps its foot. Does the pushing of the correct sign on the same thing. The high voice, he's shouting, punishment, you should have died years ago. Was it up to a punish anyway? He's 8 to 10 generations of wealth. And then here comes little Down syndrome's friend, the dirty cop. Dirty, little big bully, and Down syndrome get together, some candy. The sick, psycho cops that have aided the gangs, especially do with little Down syndrome. He shares the bag of candy. They sit there, they gloat, and they can do it in America. So, stinky. What I've noticed is stinky black Nazi. One thing is, you tend to notice people who stick themselves on money and for rape. To do those. Little Down syndrome took over, basically. Remember, we had to almost invent a language for little Down syndrome, and that Down syndrome got more perks than you ever knew. Little Down syndrome with big bullies. Down syndrome. Down syndrome. And one of the retardos, the same, I took a bunch of smelly people in a wall that can actually call it dirty cops in their own mind. See, you tell little Down syndrome that he and are cops, and maybe the bullies are retarded too. So someone told the Down syndrome thing and the other thing that they're cops. Now, why are normal? These are zombies. So, you know, syndrome people, not anymore. They're all zombies. Well, I have a dairy man to give you. What was that? And might be someone who's scratched by. He's going to actually kidnap you or restrain you. Or this bitch is acting. And so what they'll do, any story that they'll portray in the room when you're sleeping. Oh, you're an actor. 6 rapists come in. 10 rapists. Oh, it's your boyfriend. Whatever you try to pull off, they will. They'll say, you're a slut. That's the most part of it. You're a slut, you're a whore. Then they go around because you're a slut and a whore, and they actually will have post-rape or pictures of you from illegal violence naked in the shower. You're a whore, you're a whore. You are a whore. It's your boyfriend. It's your fake boyfriend. It's your child in bed with you. Half Hispanic gang member that they're portraying as your son because he looks young, and they're pretending he's 16 and he's gang raped. Hispanic, that gang member, wow, they'll portray that. Ricardo's inventing the word portrayed, sort of monkey morons. Ricardo said, I just looking at you. Do you see one? What does it sound like? I like black Nazis or any other shit. So what they'll do, they'll portray, well, they'll even force you. So like April, her mother's name is Sandra Katowicz. Yesterday, she thought she was clever, threatening me with public broadcasting service and illegal surveillance and portraying. I'm playing with your grocery money. I don't get money from the gangs. Gang members and portray them in pay your Social Security Act. It's a black Nazi that's so psychotic. 911 actually think that what you black Nazis and the other scum buckets don't pay me a dime. I have money. Why? Because I have this happen to it. This water here, other with dishes and washing dishes or cups, especially when you've got like a gang member right as you're washing dishes. I'm going to shot by a policeman. I don't be that happy. Is to dinner. Is the whore welcome? If she's waving her weapon, she could get shot by the police. Because there's, I don't look at this is water. Do you see that crust on it? That's water. They did that up on the water. I've never seen a white crust before on pans and radiation compounds, not radiation. Rusty. It's I've bathed in toxic. So it's not profitable for me to sit here and play Susie Home. Use it on me, and I shouldn't even have the knives in the kitchen sink area. They've actually threatened to come in the floor. So you can't obviously have a knife in a suitcase if somebody's coming up through the floor. They've also threatened, can't usually use, well, I can't use pillows, and that is, I got some scars. Now, what the gang will do, they'll follow you around, including people from the building, tell even public or just people you know, they'll stalk you, but then you realize everybody's a moron if they them like that. They'll actually say she's picking herself, there's no zit, no blood, she picked herself. I'm going to tell you about glass scars. Sometimes there's actually no scratch that you can discern that leaves blood. And a horse playing not leaving house, yap, yap. You don't have power over me, whore. And she's doing a psychic attack. Not leave house, chops up black Nazis. I'm not going to obey anybody. There's a bum playing gentlewoman, gentle. There's a whore playing obey breakfast. Why? Because the gang member shit ass, lowest of the low, including the black, especially the black Nazi shit, sat on welfare for 80 years and then pretended they collect people's Social Security or whatever, have decided that they would decide who starves America, who flourishes, who gets poisoned, and it's all shit. All of it is the shittiest last 30 years. All of it shit. Now, I have to take out a rag to clean because anything left in the refrigerator was touched and smeared, not just urine and feces, but with disease culture. I've actually found fecal material on wipe everything off. And they're yapping. Are there any official? A dirty cop tries to tell you what you can do, and he's gang members. What do? You call the police if he comes to your door playing you off unofficially game, which he might try to tout, but if you get the video camera out, it's guaranteed. You're not going to usually see the dirty cop, but I'll tell you, this scummy security guard was getting pretty daring the other day as he marched down the hall by my door. And remember Elizabeth Gregory home? They've been streamcasted. And the retarded bum at the, Stuart, he's a CSS, he'll say, oh, nobody was let in. How did they cast it then? We haven't let anyone in. We haven't let any, that's BS. So what was he trying to pull? And, there are guests that come here. We haven't let anyone in. So you can hear them. You can streamcast them. Oh, but they haven't been let in. They're playing, and they're playing Altivate. So he's playing Altivate. He's a maggot, and he's playing Indenture You. Is it legal to indenture anybody else? No, it's not. And guess what else you're dealing with? Not only these black Nazi bums and the other scumbags try to collect someone's check, that's like a social allergy, sensitivities, chronic fatigue, etc. But these bums will try to collect your check. You starve and you're working illegally. You're not supposed to be working. If Social Security, you're not supposed to be working. So they're breaking the law. Not fair. Sounding like, oh, that's sort of impersonal. It's not talking about you being raped or murdered. Where you're dry, unemotional, and is illegal. He's not the government. He's a moron, and he's an extortionist who works at the Pike Place Market. These bums here are all morons. And on top of it, if you want to catch them even more, they're trying to have someone who's on Social Security doing slave labor. Look up a story about that too. They'll pretend that you're with your family or your friends. They repeated threats all day long that goes is a threat so that I would do their laundry, their iron. So would you like all bloods? No, not the soldiers on the window. all been on threatening me with rape, starvation, murder. They're all in on the water poisoning. They're in on mutilation-esque mocking woman. They look retarded. That's who the Seattle Police Department and black Nazis were retarded as they, even the security guards, which tell you the color. They will pretend you're retarded. Are pretending they're bull. And it'll even like little lies like, oh, what is it again? Cover policeman. They're not. They're bums. One of the bums is playing bang you and admonishment bang you. So what this say that even if you're white with your rent statement, if you're white or other and not of these people, which and they're playing knees up. See, they're like bonobo chimps. They keep talking about rape. They're chimps. So put your knees up. Blah 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 blah. So you tell me, it's a dirty bum. Years ago, even would have been fired. Even 13 years ago, you get enough people, he'll be fired unless he can get away with it. But there are whites that work for the Pike Place Market Development Authority. But see, they can scream racism because you have your black. And so these bums were bragging that they were bringing in diseases. Oh, and he's bragging we have another one. So whatever the disease is, I want you to know it's going out in the public because I'm not staying here. And I'm going to throw it at the doorstep or throw it out the window. Where are they putting the water? They're putting it in the water. So let's play the Lisa's Crazy game back at him. You throw it out the window, you throw it at the doorstep, you throw it outside the door. Oops, splash some water. You also take a sink. What if you got sick? What if you felt burning sensation? Wouldn't you want to walk around with the sample? And since they played the Lisa's Crazy, what's to stop you from walking out the door with what they say is Ebola or radiation? And the Pike Place Market security guards are in on that, and they literally are supposedly taking care of, there's 50 here. The 50 missing probably came from Pike Place Market. All of them. And what they do, what's popular, doppelganger, they say it over and over too. Doppelganger, dead ringer, got your double. You're going to be a slave to your double. Now, I ate a chocolate cereal. My hands aren't as filthy as they look. It's a chocolate cereal. And I wanted to show he goes back and forth. He'll also chant that he Jesus or the devil soon. So don't even. I have chocolate cereal to clean up sprinkle. Anything they actually have this view of a devil if you're white. They'll molest you if you're a kid or molest you and eat you. And it's human. They call people in. So you have the worst of the worst. People with, they don't care about other white people as long as there's lots of money coming in. And they don't care about other people that aren't white. Harm. So that's not dirt, but I wash my hands in here very often. What I have to do is pour raw alcohol on me. And some in the gang, if you can make the victim as dirty as them in the shower, clicking guns, tell you got a ritual sword to chop it off, be raped for shit. Then you've got a bunch of, who's going to look better? The smooth-faced, retarded black Nazi bitch up by glass, or like other retards off that don't even, that you look worse than if you're ridiculous about. That's a pricey cost, a pricey way to go though, because they're cursed, and so did their ancestors. All those. And by the way, I'd like to state that any attack on me attacked everyone in the U.S. Absolutely attacked everyone in the U.S. You're not going to stop me. You're just a dirty, smelly hooker. tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me how to do it. You're a bunch of smells about eating. So if you're in here eating by myself, how would you know? And on with that. So they prove there's illegal surveillance. Here's a muttering, it's chanting. You can tell they're very, very with the ugly hooker. She's portraying that I some sort of permission. So even if someone rescue me, by the way, by the time you rescue me with radiation, by the way, this is not where this has ended. There have been needle stick injuries on a black man came by a garbage bag. I felt a needle stick. And I ended up at a homeless shelter. I felt a needle. Once or the gangs, they'll get you in. If I'd gone camping in the woods, he would have destroyed my my stuff. And that's dangerous anyway. $10,000 a seaplane and all that lumber. Bulldozers, I'm sorry. And more than just bulldozers, they're like cats. They do $1 million to go rough it in a line to, because I want the gang spotted for a gang. And just know they'll try to come in. They've already to do the same things, including hiding in the woods with floorboards. And it's all tied in. You get these networks, you'll get a dirty ambulance driver. AMR is one of the big dirtiest. Hell be changed. It can happen. Or it won't get there. It'll get stolen. One is not arguing like what didn't arguing as to why. She's a dirty bum. Oh, and they're playing about a bum is hitting the door from opening. So technically, the bums come in, clap their hands over my, rejected me, and yes, I have actually been. They have the key. The people who work here gave it to them. Also, there are bums. Even if you think there's a chance I can come home and then, or it's not really home, but problem because I don't know where to put it because they already threatened me with the storage that 16 Roosevelt. It's Roosevelt self-storage, and they were bragging that they'd entered, and they were seeing if there was anything of value, and like the doubting from too. So they're all in on major theft, murder. Excuse me. Have I been threatened to be shot many. One of the retardos is yapping. Yap. They'll have people mug you, and they'll get a flash mob together. They'll even portray that your glasses. So on if that place market security guard, he used to be that late, and make you just portray retarded authorities. Like, oh, she's at the raggedy bitch, and if you ever come in here, I'm going to tape you up and call me. He's a moron. He kept the job because he's black. He's playing medication. So the ugly faggot is now threatening me with he doesn't belong here, practicing without a license. And you don't listen without a license, without being about shit trials. Sorry, everyone in the mess. I'm going to show you times in a second. So, a black Nazi at the Pike Place Bar playing stabbed on out any authority, dirty cops. So I'll be